Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. Today I'm showing you my whole PCG binder, which is pretty cool. I just constructed it, and I basically took all my notes from when I was in school, and I did PCGs in study hall, and when I was at home, just creating and crafting games. So this is gonna be really basic stuff. That's just pretty much notes, but I also have some maps and characters and other stuff in here. So yeah, this is the binder. I'll open it up to show you this part first. This is when I did D&D. This was kind of like my PCG D&D hybrid game. It's called the Untold Legends of Karul. We got the Hot Pocket PCG, the PCG Float I made. I was inspired by the Sonic activists. Here's a Hento and a Kovian dude. I just didn't know what to put in these pockets, so I put them. And then right here is just a bunch of little games I was just planning, like Expedition 0708 ended up being a game. I still have to make the game The Collector. But yeah, these are just cover ideas for just some games. That's the Chomper right there. Over here, that's the logo for the PCG Archives channel. Here's some just random characters I drew that are classy Zuvac and classy Tutorial Bot. There's Sluice Face. Then over here, these are from my lore videos. If you remember those, when I used to do those, these are my lore video little sheet for Gondo and Shadspire. Here's just some PCG encounter ideas and some other future PCGs. Just a really quick rough drafts. If you flip it over, lore for the Toten planet, and there's the creatures, like the Teletons, Sea Dragon, and Skeletrons. Then over here, you got my first cards for my PCG TCG, which I thought I was gonna keep continuing. I might still, but it is a lot of work with my other trading card game and stuff. But yeah, this is a plans for my second Mercado shop, which I pretty much already made. PCG event, I was gonna host a Decad event, but I never ended up being able to do that. Here's a full list of future PCGs. I do a lot of these. Here's some more drawings of characters. Over here, I really like to plan my whole PCGs screen by screen in like miniature form. So here's the story of Figfist Jr. all planned little screens. I was going to do a PCG called Crabs and Crustaceans. Never got around to doing that. There's a better cover for the game. This is my Journey Beyond series. I have the whole series planned out, front and back. But over here, I was experimenting with different combat systems for PCGs, but then again, I don't really like combat systems in PCGs. Here are just future PCGs again. I like to do a lot of those. Flip it over. Here was a planned full script of Ancient Tunnels #3. Never ended up making that game. Probably will in the future. More Journey Beyond games, all planned. But yeah, if you guys are like to plan your PCGs or just write notes for your games, I recommend getting a binder and getting page protectors and just putting all your stuff in here because it's really nice to look back at and get ideas. Here's just ideas for ship designs for a PCG I was working on. This was the puzzle for Clouded Hopes that Chris and Zach never ended up figuring out, which is fine. PCG expansions, character sheets, which I do end up doing. This is a plan for a game called The Last Sultan, which I really need to make because it's actually a pretty cool game. This is a PCG that I quickly made. I've never played a PCG like this, like one piece of paper with tiny little screens. Usually I just plan them like this. But my friend saw this and he's like, hey, can we play this? Because we were done with a test at school. So he built a robot and then we went on through a full game. And I ended up making this exact game into a full game called Tinker Time PCG, which I still need to show. This is School of Secrets. The whole game is all planned here. And then I will later write the script. But this is just the rough draft. I really like to do rough drafts, then draw on paper, and then make the final script. And on the back, I was planning a PCG called The Frozen Hunt. This one my friend made. We were playing little PCGs in study hall, and he just made this one page. It's front and back, but you had to throw a frisbee at this guy, and I later incorporated this one into another PCG, which I forgot. That's a drawing of just a bat. For some reason, it's in there. And then over here, there's a little temple here, and there's a hot dog cart that randomly falls on you, which is kind of funny. This is a game called Acid Crabs, which it's like a campaign PCG I'm working on. This is just the very rough draft. I believe I showed the other version in another video. This is the Shogun card game. This is like a card game that you would play against like the fat guy or someone else, like to get past them. This is just a very rough draft. I will end up making that. The Sheep of Windgate, another PCG I planned and I actually finished. This is a rough draft for the, I think it was 4 emoji challenge Sketchy Penguin was hosting. So this is the rough draft, and then I ended up making it into, if I can find it. Well, so you'll see it later. This was Pinchvac 2, pretty much planned out. Very, very rough draft of it. PCG notes, like future PCGs, I do a lot of those, like I said. Arctic Howl, this is a really cool PCG, which I totally forgot about. I should probably make this. It's basically like Icewind Dale, but in PCG form, if you know what that is. Ruined City of, and then I left it blank because I have not figured out what to call it yet. Need to finish that. This is Dosgrau Prison or Citadel. Need to make that game. And then on the back is Pinchvac number 4. This is like the planned ship idea, but never ended up using that. Expedition 0708. I ended up adding an 08 at the end for some reason. Yeah, this was the planned cover and some notes I had for it. Over here is the PCG Exploring Shogun. I'm not going to be showing this because Zach is playing that currently, but those are some notes for it. It's my first bookmark I ever made. This is plans for a planet I was making that my friend really liked. Book ideas. I'm working on a Mercado book, but I ended up losing that document because my sister is now using that computer, so I don't have it anymore. These are main PCG characters. Oh, this is cool, yeah. These are all the main characters that me and my friend use. So those are all the ones that we use for our games. This was Space Station Survival. It's going to be like a swamp survival kind of game. Just basically planned. I was explaining PCGs to my friend in my notebook, and I basically just drew him a picture like this, and I was like explaining it on the way. So he thought that was cool. That's some Gorgath lore, which I never did a video for. Random Decad PCG drawings. I kind of spread those out throughout the whole binder. This is a cool maze screen that was really badly drawn, but some reason I like it, for the Death Cult, which is another PCG I'm going to make. Shogun Final Map, which ended up not being the final map. This is a Mercado level system I was working on. And that's a card back for a custom playing card set I was going to make. So I know this video is going to be longer. I think we're pretty much not even halfway done. So it's going to be a pretty long video, but yeah. Stick around if you want to see all the secrets of my plans. But yeah, Clouded Hopes 4, that was a terrible design, but I was just doing, because I had no idea what to do for Clouded Hopes 4, because Chris and Zach have not played the 3rd one yet, so when they do that, then I'll make the 4th one, and then so on. This is just a 1-page PCG I did in study hall. I like to do a lot of those, because I usually finish my homework, so I have a lot of free time in them. Forest of Secrets, very rough draft plans. I don't think I've shown that PCG. Advanced Paper Computer Games. This is just a little system I was going to do. Never ended up using it. This is a little map of a random place. Decad drawing, and that's a TCG drawing. This is from Diocad, I think, which was an event that died out pretty quickly, but it was fun. More plans for, I think this was Pinchvac 3, yeah, because it took place on Mortalis. This is a plan for a PCG called Lost. This is my pocket paper computer game, Revenge on Yippet, and Journey of Ralph. Those are 2 PCGs I plan on making. I already have part of it done for Revenge on Yippet. I just lost motivation. These were just some PCG miniatures I used. Emperor of Gorgath was in the game, and I was experimenting with doing a PCG escape room. So that's basically what PCGs are, but it's going to be like more real life, like what an actual escape room is, but in PCG form. These are all my emoji challenge PCGs that Sketchy Penguin gave the ideas for, so I think there's one more. I don't know where it is. Camp Survival, that's for my solo PCG. Fortnite Battle Arena, that's a paper game. This is the actual end-up version of the Tony's Dungeon. First comic strip about Grand Fresnel, I have a whole video on that. Decad art, more Decad art, that's just a random trading card that is there. These are upgrades I wanted to do for my storage. And I already have a really good storage system for PCGs. I might show that in a separate video. I just have a series of drawers. These were the journal arts for my journals that I do for PCGs. They're kind of like PCG merch. PCGs to make. A Mercado museum, which I still have to make. I already made the Mercado trading post. Some random drawings of characters like 3D, Killbot, and Zoo Chompers. This was the OG PCG journal design. This was a plan for PCG called the Castle of Sand, which I ended up making. That's my old logo back there. This is for ZCCC or something. It's another event that died out, but it was still fun to do. I did 3 entries for it. This is the PCG Archives, which kind of a channel I haven't worked on. I probably should. I was going to basically show characters and do like depth and lore and stuff. Okay, this is like probably the best section of the video. These are all my roundabouts that me and my friend did, which is super cool. This is the cover for it. Yeah, this was one of my roundabouts. It basically had a filter where it was all dark, so you could only see in a circle. You had to move around and try not to go into the lava and stuff. This was his game. I really enjoyed this. I don't remember too much. I just remember having a lot of fun. This is a cool building PCG where you have to go up all this building, and this was his, and then there's the button, which you're tempted to press. This was his first roundabout he ever made. I showed that in a video. This is another one where you had to take down each of these like things to destroy the castle. This is a zombie survival one I made. This is one I made for a video explaining what are roundabouts. This is like a floating island one. And this is basically a full island that you have to explore. Now we'll get into character sheets. This one my uncle made. That's my dad's, my sister's. They didn't play too many PCGs, but when they did, it was pretty fun. This is my main friend that plays PCGs, and this is my other friend that mainly play them. This is a character sheet I was going to make, but I never ended up playing any PCGs because I'm mainly the PCG master. It's another version of John. The OG version of John and the OG version of Spadino. These are like the 2 main characters. Then this is a PCG map of the whole universe. So that's very cool. You got individual maps for each planet. You got Gondo, Toten, the old Gondo map and the old Toten map. You also have the Shri map, Shadspire map, and Ghost Axe map. The old outdated version for the PCG universe. That was Sketchy Penguin's universe that I don't think he wanted me to show yet. So, oops. This is the Shogun map of my whole universe, which is pretty cool. Or sector in the universe. These are just little PCGs. I showed Lonely Lagoon and this. This is just a cool colored in PCG I made. Never ended up finishing it. It's missing a screen actually, but yeah. That is Mystery on the Lake. Mercado items, and yeah, that was my full PCG binder. I hope I went into enough detail for you guys, but yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video, and see ya.